Hello everyone, welcome back to Duchess of Success. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. It helps the channel to grow. So a bit of a different video today. Today is actually World Leprosy Day. This is celebrated on the last Sunday of every January, and Diana left an untouchable legacy and a mark on the world, leading the way with many different issues that many world leaders and certainly no royals wanted to touch, and they included many things: reducing the stigma of HIV and AIDS patients, the horrors of landmines, and destigmatizing leprosy. So I wanted to bring attention to Diana's work with leprosy and also correct some myths, because there's a lot of misunderstandings about the disease that leads to stigma. So part of what I'm about to read is taken from a report that Yahoo did some time back, reflecting on Diana's visit to Nepal and also some other countries where leprosy is quite common. So it starts by talking about Diana's visit to a leprosy hospital to visit a young lady called Lakshmi Rajan. The girl, who was 18 at the time and suffering from leprosy, was told that a princess was visiting, but she wasn't told anything more. Lakshmi caught a glimpse of the woman she remembers as foreign and beautiful. When their eyes met, Lakshmi drew back, but Diana, Princess of Wales, had spotted the shy teenager and stopped to ask what was wrong with her. She noticed her deformed hand and picked it up. In a few days, she would have an operation to correct the clawing caused by leprosy, the princess was informed. "It was the most wonderful moment of my life," Lakshmi said, "but it is not something I could ever tell anyone." Such is the stigma of leprosy that Lakshmi has kept her meeting with the most famous woman in the world a closely guarded secret for the past 2 decades. It is a secret that she will take to her grave in order to protect herself and her family from the stigma of the disease. "No one knew I had leprosy or that I was being treated for it," Lakshmi said. "So no one ever knew that I met this wonderful woman who was so kind." Diana's visit to the hospital on the outskirts of Kathmandu on a scorching day in March 1993 did more for people like Lakshmi than anyone could have ever imagined. It showed they were worthy of meeting a princess, a far cry from the cruel treatment they often suffered at the hands of their own families and communities. As she sat on patients' bed, shook their hands and gently held a bandaged and deformed leg, Diana also helped to dispel the long-held myth that leprosy can be passed by touch. The article goes on to say that it was a gesture that Diana would go on to repeat time and time again in hospitals in India, in Zimbabwe. Shavaka Kandel was a junior officer when Diana visited. He said, "We get lots of visits, but I had never seen someone sit so close to patients and not just talk to them, but listen to them. She wanted to hear their story. She spent most of the time she was there with patients. Her actions made a huge difference to the stigma people with leprosy suffer, not just in Nepal but around the world." The media that followed her reported the story of her touching patients with leprosy in India, China and many other countries. She didn't wear gloves. She touched them with her bare hands. She didn't seem to have that fear that many others have. So there are still many misunderstandings about leprosy. The disease attacks the nerves to the hands, feet and face, rendering them without feeling. If left untreated, it can lead to severe disfigurement. Worse still is the stigma that stops people seeking treatment for fear of being thrown out of their homes by their families or communities when they learn of the disease. Leprosy is in fact curable and not highly infectious. A multi-drug therapy cure has been available since 1981, but healthcare and the access to medicines can often be political and come down to what is most profitable for the big pharmaceutical giants. And while there are still strides to take in tackling the stigma, the work Diana did will never be forgotten. She did what no other royal has ever done and earned the title of Queen of our Heart. And if you want to learn or understand more about leprosy, I will put some information links in the bio. Thank you for watching, wishing you a lovely week, and don't forget to join me for tomorrow's Monday live. Lots to go through. See you then. Ciao.